Okay, so this is a kind of serious-ish issue, I would say. And it's quite sad that I had to witness different individuals like fall from grace eventually. Eventual fall from grace. It's like their content used to be okay, and then they just got sucked into the clickbait and they suffered as a result of it. So if you guys know kaisetsu doga, like Japanese explanation videos online, those related to buses, trains, or any other mode of transportation, people who specialize in these sorts of videos, it doesn't necessarily have to be purely yapping from behind a screen. It could also be adding explanations to their own experiences in real life. Like, for example, they tried to write shinya bus, like midnight buses, and they tried to hunt for rare trains or stuff like that. Or kind of a combination of both as well. And most often, the clickbait tactic would be they put a picture, like a photo of a bus or train or a place, and then they would usually spam subtitles here and make it big so that it's like visible, and then at the bottom they would spam subtitles as well. And I've also seen several extreme examples whereby it's not just the top and bottom, but even the center is like flooded with words. Like basically a good 70% to 90% of the thumbnail is words, and then the other 10% is basically the background. And their intention is to just get people to click. In fact, I could even make one right now. So one example would be something like Nesugoshi Chui. You get the point. Something like this. And then something like this. Per day. And then you just sort of like rearrange it a little bit, and then this becomes your video thumbnail. But obviously it's in Japanese. The main point is that the content is not the problem or the issue. The over-sensationalization is. But I'm here to remind you that a lot of these kaisetsu doga YouTubers, they are quote-unquote dishonest. Fuseijitsu. And I'll explain why. It's quote-unquote. Most of these YouTubers are anonymous, honestly, and then they use a voiceover. That's not the issue. But the very, very top kaisetsu doga people, they are not here on YouTube to provide you with the most accurate recount of your own experiences or the most accurate, I'm not talking about intel, but it's like the most accurate information that's available online. And most of the times it's condensed to cater to people with low attention span. Like every 5 seconds or 10 seconds or so, there would be some, I don't know, like some drum, just like sound effect or anything to keep people's attention span at bay, like to keep them locked in. Which I find it really unnecessary, but you do you. They are not here for accuracy or to be genuine in this online space. They are after their money, obviously, as in YouTube income, and their sole intention is just to, which is kind of how like you're quote unquote supposed to do YouTube. It's just to divert traffic to themselves and generate the clicks. And they do it by pulling your attention with all of these big words in the thumbnail or sensationalized catchphrases. You guys know what I mean. Like, they're not here on the space, which is kind of like made worse by their anonymity in general, but they are not here to be relatable human beings on this online space or anything. They're just here to feed themselves with the YouTube income, which is why I don't fully blame them, regardless of whether it's YouTube is their job or it's like a side hobby. They're just here to get generate engagement and earn money, regardless of whether it's positive or negative engagement. Clickbait in itself is kind of like a double-edged sword. Whatever. You get what I mean. So, to put it very simply, if your clickbait actually works and you get the views, then you quote-unquote look like a genius. But if your view count stagnates, like let's say it doesn't get at the very least 4 digits, then your video would end up looking out of place, I would say. Kind of like, making yourself look stupid in the process, unfortunately. But obviously, I'm not here to say that if your video doesn't get 4 digits, then it's a failure. No, I'm not here to say that. I'm just saying, typically, what these people are aiming for is 4 digits or more. But even when it succeeds, it is literally just a view count on the surface. It doesn't necessarily mean that, like, the video is of good quality, even though quality is subjective. It just means that it has gained engagement. So out of all of these views and comments, obviously, you either get positive comments either from new people or from returning viewers telling you that, hey, your videos are good, please produce more, or the comments giving you extra insights, especially when your video isn't in-depth enough. Or if people think you're just somebody who clickbaits a lot, you would have a higher chance of receiving hate comments. And I know some people are just not, built to receive such comments. I can empathize. So again, recap, the reason why this is dangerous is because clickbait exposes you to a lot more criticism, whether said criticism is actually valid or not. Again, it's quite saddening to see, but I have seen this one particular YouTuber, I'm not going to name names, but proclaiming that he is not good enough of a YouTuber, and then he posts something either on his YouTube community tab or he makes like a full video of it, or on his like Twitter account, because a lot of Japanese people, they use Twitter. They post that they want to quit. They actually do quit for a while. They return. They post that they want to quit because they're just not getting the results, or maybe they have been getting a lot of hate. They return. And this vicious cycle basically keeps repeating itself throughout like their entire YouTube career, however long that would be. I'm not gonna flat out make assumptions as to the reason why he has this like quit and return behavior, but from what I have had been observing throughout the years, like based on the way he has posted and stuff like that, I could narrow it down to 2 things. Or maybe 3 things. Like the first one would be in real life commitments, which is perfectly understandable. But it's more worrying if it's either of these 2. Which is basically what I've explained. They're not getting their desired results after their clickbait, or they have been getting a lot of uncontrolled hate. Again, I'm not going to speculate, but if I were to narrow it down, it could be either of these. And unfortunately, these 2 have been further fueled by a term that I have personally coined myself. It's called Wannabe, and this is a neutral way of saying it. I'm not saying this in a negative connotation or anything. I'm just explaining things. Wannabe Corporatism this is not something that is exclusive to content creators, like basically bus and train enthusiasts like in Japan. I've seen such instances in the West or even in Southeast Asia as well, like the way people post on their community tab. But I just couldn't help but notice that Japanese, due to cultural reasons and stuff like that, Japanese train and bus YouTubers tend to be a lot more. It isn't exactly an exclusive thing to bus and train YouTubers, but it's just for bus and train, like as a like doga chosha gyokai or something along those lines. I just happened to notice that Japanese bus and train enthusiasts just so happen to be way more prone to this kind of behavior. You guys all know that I don't give a crap about the number of subscribers I have, right? But just to explain, this is a phenomena that affects like pretty much everybody that got sucked into this behavior, regardless of whether they have 3-digit subscribers, 4 digits, 5 digits as well. Okay, because this is wannabe, right? So once it's 6 digits, it's like basically off the wannabe list, because once you hit like 6 digits on YouTube in terms of subscribers, then most people would say that you are quite, it's like, how do I put it? You're kind of like famous, I would say. To be more precise, you're famous and you have the statistics in terms of number of subscribers and total number of hours, the total watch time. It's like you're successful and you have all these statistics to actually back it up, provided that your channel isn't botted or anything. So with that in mind, there are some 5-digit people who have been sucked into this, but it usually affects people that are around this range. And it's actually very, very easy to spot this kind of behavior in the community tab. But they don't really call it community nowadays. They call it like what? Post tab or something. They just call it like posts. So if you see a lot of these keigo being used, or something like お知らせいたします or something like basically if you see the post being spammed with a lot of these, a lot of these, a lot of these, it's when their community tab or posts is just filled with this. And it's not like they are trying to sell a product or run a business or something. It's like they're not even like a quote unquote big YouTuber in a sense, but they are trying very, very hard to act in a corporate manner. And in terms of cultural reasons, because some people have like this notion that because it's the internet, you're in a space that's full of strangers, and because of that, by default, you should put keigo, not just like desu, masu, or anything, but it's like you should spam keigo, use keigo, as long as you are within this YouTube space. Like some people still have this like really, really backwards mindset or thinking. And because of this quote unquote societal expectation that is like being dictated by a small handful of netizens, it's not every netizen is like that, but it's being dictated by a handful. I wouldn't even say small handful, either a good handful or just a small handful, depends. Because these are kind of like the quote unquote social expectations, right? So this is what people in response resort to in an attempt to please people. And I'm not necessarily saying that everybody who posts on their community tab or Twitter like this has corporate-like behavior. I'm not saying that, but it's just, I don't think this is a thing that should be normalized, and I'm just bringing to you guys the fact that some people have gotten sucked into this endless loop of feeling the need to please people inside a non-corporate space like YouTube. Yes, I do know that some people literally do business using YouTube as a platform, but some people, despite not doing business or they're not like a big name or anything, they feel a need to act polite in order to please people. Again, cultural reasons. And it's not just related to Japanese people, even Westerners do it as well. And it's not just about like informing them, hey, when this video will be released or postponed or cancelled or anything. It's not about that. Like, that's normal to me, but it's this very, very overly Keigo-ish and behavior in, and if you don't do it well, you could appear as fake, cold, or something along those lines. Like, you're not acting like a real self. You're anonymous and you're just acting polite to please people. So unfortunately, the person in question had succumbed to this, and what I saw over a span of time from them was just kind of sad and disappointing. They make self-depreciating videos or content, not for the fun of it, but like actually self-depreciating, like either videos or posts, regardless of which social networking site, social media site it's on. All because their clickbait exposed them to a lot of hate, or they thought that clickbait is the way to go and didn't get their results, which led to them thinking of quitting YouTube multiple times already, I would say. And basically the most, what's that word? How do you say it? Like, kuyashii, like, just, the most upsetting thing is that when I looked at your content, right, I didn't click on the videos or anything, but just at one glance, right, their content isn't even bad. Like, they went around riding all the Shinya bus, like all the midnight exclusive bus routes that most of us don't even have like the time or resources to bother to camp for them. Like, you need to think about accommodation, you need to think about, hey, do I need to sleep on the streets? Do I have enough money to book a taxi home or to the nearest hotel or stuff like that? They went out experiencing all of the midnight buses that most of us cannot even experience on a daily basis or on a normal basis. So it's like buried in this kind of like clickbait thumbnail content. It's not AI slot, by the way, but it's like buried in this kind of content. It's actually a lot of like hidden potential that they didn't manage to unlock or realize, and I'll explain it. Sorry, not kuyashi, but more of like oshii. Because I'm gonna be very, very honest with you, because I'm not just a content creator. Like, I watch other people's videos as well. And when I see this kind of thumbnail, I don't see the doga chosha. I don't see their identity. I just see it as a mere clickbait video thumbnail. I have no idea who it belongs to without looking at the channel's name, and most of the time I don't even know, I didn't even know this channel existed, that kind of thing. So I don't see the content creator's identity. All I see is clickbait video thumbnail, where only like 10 to 30% of the photograph that's used as the background is visible, and it's just being smothered with text. So my advice is, they don't need to fix the way they design their thumbnails or anything. They just need to fix the way they sell their content. So for example, if words like 寝過ごし注意 or 免許維持路線終日一本のみ or something along those lines, if it's already explained in the thumbnail, you could actually afford to shorten your video title in order to, you know, provide a title that actually is impactful. Like, make a title that is short, clean, but sends a message and actually wants to make people to click on it. Because more often than not, when I see these video titles, it's just lengthy. It's just very, very lengthy. And then from this title alone, I cannot even identify the bus service number. And sometimes it's actually a clickbait tactic to not put the service number or the line or the shubetsu, basically like the train line, the type of service. Sometimes they intentionally hide it and only put the keywords. But the issue is that even if you want to hide like this bus service number or the train services number or service type or anything, you have to ensure that, like, you want to clickbait, right? You have to ensure that your keywords are very clear and it's not just like keyword. It's not impactful, and I just see it as a very messy title. Not all long titles are messy. Some people put long titles only because they want to describe like what places this bus route passes by, like for Dementembo Doga, for example. When I say long and messy, I'm referring to the fact that it's just way too many baity keywords. Because if you want your clickbait to be effective, not saying that I support clickbait or anything, but I'm just saying, if you want your clickbait to be effective, choose only like 2 of them. Or at most 3. You don't have to make your video titles like so long. You could even do something like Nesugoshi Chui, like do not oversleep series, volume 1. When I see the volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, my first impression is that this guy probably has a series and it's probably worth clicking and actually watching and finding out what other videos this person has in store for us. People often underestimate this thing. It's okay if you don't want to turn it into a series because not everybody has the time to, film all these overnight buses, but let's say you don't do overnight buses, you do something else that you're more comfortable with. You can put all these volumes. It's not to make it like neat and tidy or anything. It's not for that. It's to show people that you actually have a series that's ongoing or used to be ongoing, and I want to watch it all from like volume 1 to 100, or I don't know, 50, 100. You could even do something like do not oversleep Kawagoe Bus Edition. Keep it short and simple. And if you want those like keywords that really draw attention to that really draw attention to make people want to click on the video, right? Limit it to 1 keyword or 2 keywords or phrases, and at most 3. Don't exceed it. Because the more you add to a Japanese sentence, the more you overcomplicate and mess things up. Even from a clickbait title, I want the title's message to be clear. I don't want a clickbait title that's like, that just makes you even more confused as to what your video is even all about in the first place. And again, as much as I don't agree with hiding the bus service number or train service type in the video title, I don't agree with that. Because sometimes people who are looking for a specific service, it would really benefit them if their attention gets drawn to your video, is what I'm trying to say. And even if you, like for example, you insist on hiding it because you really want the clickbait effect, again, keep your titles clear and concise, like short and tidy. Unless your video is like a full trip front view video of a bus or a train, unless it's that, I don't need you to tell me the full story inside the title. I want you to make a short and impactful statement to be able to draw people to your video. And then you let your own video do the magic. You let your video tell the story. You don't tell the story in the title and make people and basically switch people off at the title itself. Then your clickbait doesn't even work in the first place. I'm not in any way saying that this kind of clickbait is amateurish or anything. That's not my point. My point is that I want to say the reason why certain types of clickbait just, it seems like it works, but it just doesn't in actuality. And another piece of advice is focus on your channel's identity. So if it's like, let's say, a front view video, I only use 6 words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it conveys the entire message of this bus route. This is something that's extra, and obviously this is something that's extra. And this is basically my identity. Or if you want to make the service number bigger, like let's say in this case, what service did I write? Okay. But make it bigger, of course. No, not bigger, but make the font size like thicker. And you keep the background, so it's like, you know, it's a Demetembo doga, right? The background must still be somewhat visible amidst all your words and stuff like that. And if you want the, you know, I don't do this, but if you want the like clickbaity to draw your attention, I think you should limit it to over here or maybe over here so that it's like consistent. And again, don't over describe if you're trying to clickbait. Keep it short and concise. I know this is coming from somebody that makes really, really long video titles that sometimes exceeds the 100 character limit. But in my case, I just don't give a crap. That's my explanation for why I write all these long videos. It's like, I don't even think. Whatever comes to my brain, I just vomit it all out. And I can do this because, like I said, I don't give a crap about how many views my videos get, or how many likes my videos get, or how many subs I get. Like, in essence, I just don't give a crap about my whole reception or image on YouTube. I just do whatever the shit I want. And I bear the consequences of it. The only time I care about like how many views my videos get is maybe to produce a bit more of this content or maybe a bit less of this content, and that's pretty much it. I just use it like as a rough guideline. But then most of the time I just don't give a crap. For me, it's like, it's not just because I have the like quote-unquote arrogance or confidence to like do whatever I want on YouTube or anything. It's not just because of that. And also not just because of the fact that I don't give a crap about what others think of me. It's also because ever since day one, I have always said that I do this for fun. Yes, I earn money from it. Not that much, but I earn money from it. But most importantly, I want to have fun doing it. It is my personal space. And yes, I do take in constructive criticism, like for example, in the sense that like, SG Buster says, hey, you may want to try out live streams, you may want to try out shorts. And it's not about whether you accept their suggestions or not. It's about the fact that you actually take in and consider what other people are trying to tell you, especially when it's constructive and justified. Like, they're just trying to help you. And I also do understand that not everybody is as like unfiltered as me, especially in Japanese society. Like, not everybody is like supposed to be unfiltered, right? Like the whole honne tatemae ha 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 thing. The reason why I even brought up constructive criticism is because you guys know I have this like whole mindset of like, some people have been telling me that I should at least learn how to edit my videos instead of like yapping from behind a computer screen. yeah, I get it, but it's like this is the lowest effort, and all I need to do is for my brain to work and process. I don't even need to do any of the stupid, unnecessary video editing stuff. So it's like I don't. It's like I take in constructive criticism from people, but at the same time, I don't let other people dictate the flow, like basically how I do things. It's more of like I don't try to please people. I make people get used to me and my existence and the way I do things. If you understand where I'm coming from. To put it simply, it's like if you're not happy or if you don't like my videos, I never forced you to watch it in the first place. You can always click off and go watch somebody else instead. So again, there is a way to, take in feedback and at the same time set your own limits and boundaries reasonably, especially when people are saying it in a quote unquote nice or constructive way. And it's not just like, people that are out there to, destroy you. Remember, this is your own personal space. You make the rules. As long as you're not like saying anything that, would cause hurt or discriminate against any racial, religious, or demographic group. Like, you follow the rules and regulations, guidelines, and stuff like that, you're okay. It's like I see all these people like these where is it? I see all of these like people trying to act very corporate or a company like in their own community tab and stuff like that, trying to be like, official announcement, my channel will be going in this direction. Okay, not really that, but it's like being very corporate even for like the littlest things. I feel it's like a little bit excessive. It's just a little bit too much for me. And I usually get like it's just a personal thing, but I get really quote unquote scared or turned off by such behavior, which makes me even more happy that like on my community tab, my own community tab or post section, I just post whatever the hell I want. Like regardless of whether it's like a poll or me just like sharing my own stuff, you guys are free to take it if you want, and stuff like that. Like I know this is my revenue, but at the same time, as in like my side revenue, but at the same time, I don't take things seriously. I just be myself. That's it. Because if you set like how do I put it? If you set overly high standards that all of your videos have to be of this certain quality, right? Then there is a very, very, very high chance that you get pressured to meet your own expectations of yourself and not necessarily just your own perception on what others expect out of you. You get stressed, and over time, you burn out and you just don't feel like you just don't enjoy making videos anymore. See, the reason why I'm like quite how to say I'm like quite chill about it is because all I need to do is just remember what I have to say in my head. I mean, partially because I have like experience yapping, right? So my whole point is be natural, be yourself, and people will come to you. Eventually, at least. If you're consistent, obviously. I'm not saying like if you upload like once per year or I'm not referring to that. I know some famous YouTubers do that, but I'm just talking about like average. So my advice is don't try to set all these unrealistic standards or expectations of yourself because your main priority besides earning money is you want to have fun with it. Don't cage yourself in all of this like, oh, I need to copy other people's clickbait because it seems to work for them. Please don't do that. Do something that's sustainable, do something that works for you and doesn't take way too much stress to produce. Because for my case, I set my own bar very low. And my viewers all got used to the way I sit in front of a computer screen, use my phone to record my laptop, and yap. Like, nobody else does this. I set the bar very low. I'm not pressured. I can upload whatever the hell I want. I don't care if it does well. I just want to showcase myself and the things I've experienced. Don't limit yourself to like, oh, I only want to do videos of this kind or that kind. Just expand your scope a little bit, but at the same time, don't make it such that when you expand, you try to destroy your own identity. In this case, because like at the end of the day, whether you want to be seen as like multi-talented or you just want to specialize in just doing one thing or a few things, it's perfectly fine. You're free to control what kind of content you want to put out. My main point is don't overstress yourself and don't try too hard to emulate or copy other people. Just do things your own way is all I ask. And please try not to be so corporate, okay? It's your space, not a government's office. And if you want to clickbait, please cut down your words. And at the same time, without forgetting the original message of like this video, I mean the main message, this is only something that the top 1 or 5% of kaisetsu doga chosha, it's only like the top 1 to 5%, they dominate the market. And it's only something that these people have refined and know how to do well, at the expense of their entire like honesty or relatability as a content creator. I'm not saying what they're doing is wrong. I'm just saying that there is a huge risk in trying to emulate or copy them, because you might end up hurting yourself, like emotionally, especially if you don't get the results that you want or some unwarranted or unwanted hate comes your way, especially when you know that you're not the kind of person that is designed to, deal with all of these hate, because everybody's built different. Like, there are people like me who just don't give a fuck at all, but there are some people who are just not built for it, if you get what I mean. Like, not in a bad way, it's just that they tend to be more conscious about either their own content or how other people perceive them as individuals. And the thing is, you guys know me. I'm not saying this because I'm using language because I want to be politically correct, and I want to please people. No, I'm just saying things like straight out of my brain. I just need to remember, like, I just need time to remember, like, because I don't script my videos, right? I just need time to remember, like, what I have to say. So that's why I kind of like stumble, because I don't have a script. Not because I want to like control my word usage or anything. No, I'm just thinking of what I want to say. Again, because like, you really look stupid doing this. I'm so thirsty. I want to go get some water, and I just want to enjoy my food.